So, as you know, I've been working through the Science of Mind textbook this year for my talks. And the chapter this week is chapter 24, and Dr. Holmes entitled it General Summary. It doesn't make for an exciting talk title, I will tell you. So I'm calling this talk Freedom, because that's basically what he's talking about, freedom. He says we're all here to experience freedom. He said we know it, it's in our bones, and we're all going to get there. And it's a matter of us stepping up to it, not refusing to live in our lack and limitation any longer. Now, it's been a really fun exercise going through all these chapters this whole year. I've really grown to know Dr. Holmes' thinking much better and at a much deeper level, and I've really appreciated his genius. In this chapter, he says life responds to us the way we approach it, If we believe in suffering, we will suffer. And the opposite is true. If we believe in goodness and joy and love, we're going to experience that. Whatever we place our attention on, that becomes the law of our life. The will of Spirit is always towards that which expresses life and happiness. So our life and happiness are Spirit's showing up as you and me. Our greater ideas of how we can have more love and joy in our life, this is Spirit showing up. Spirit is always saying yes to a greater unfoldment for us. You know, I had a wonderful friend, and when I moved up to Washington, and if I ever came up with a good idea how I wanted to try something, she would always say, well, give it a try. I think that's what Spirit does for us. Anytime we have an idea of how to have more love and laughter and joy in our life, Spirit is saying, give it a try. And if we will think on God, or if God, the term God gives you problem, just add another O to that and say good. It works just as well. If we will think on good, the evil will disappear. Evil will disappear. And if there is something in our life that is not so good, let's deal with it, acknowledge it and deal with it, and then turn it loose. Don't obsess on it. Don't turn the news media on 24 hours a day so that they can give you hourly updates on what news is happening. And you can tell it's not good for you because when you look at the anchor people, you can tell the joy they have in bringing another bit of bad news for you. There's death at the airport. Let's talk about it. Let's show you pictures about it. And then we're going to do that 4 times in 1 hour. Acknowledge it. Do what you can. Do what you feel is important for you to do. And then move on to something that will get you feeling at a higher vibration. Move on to something that is more joyful. And look for that every day. Look for that every day. You know, we all want to have the big, huge breakthroughs. We want to be walking along in the beach and have an angel show up to tell us something. That doesn't happen very often. And even in Scripture, when it happens, you know what the first thing most people said was, not me. I don't want this. Moses did it. Mary, when the angel came. No, I don't want this. They had to be convinced into it. So for most of us, the miracles happen in an ordinary way. And if we will look for ordinary miracles, our lives can become extraordinary miracles. They happen every day. I had a wonderful experience this past Friday. I got back from my vacation, and we had a long list of things that needed to get done. We're returning our copier after we've had a lease for 5 years, and we needed to get the memory erased off of it. Well, who knows how to do that? And so I got in the office, I got the manuals out. The manuals look like they were all written in English, but when you try to read them, I'm not sure about that. And finally, after frustrating myself a good 45 minutes, I thought, well, let me call the guys down the road they repair cell phones. Maybe they can help me out. I called them. They were, oh, sure, we'll send Ben down. Ben turned out, he looked to be about 12 years old if he was a day. And Ben got a hold of that copier. First of all, let me tell you, we've had that copier for 5 years now. That copier has intimidated every single person that's ever worked with it. It's the most ornery. I know machines don't have personalities. This one does, and it's not nice. It's not nice. Downton Abbey, what's the Maggie Smith's character? That's this copier. She's that copier. Little Ben, 16 years, he got a hold of that copier. He was playing that copier like a Stradivarius. I mean, 2 minutes later, he was like, it's done, and he was on its way. Ben was a miracle for me. Ben was a miracle, because that was a miracle for me. An ordinary miracle. But if we look for them, if we proclaim them, they become power to us. Dr. Holmes also has one of the most meaningful quotes in this chapter, and I use it a lot. He says, if you say it's God, it's God. If you say it's dust, it's dust. In other words, you put the power into it. You are saying, this is a miracle. Because I know I could call relatives or friends up and tell them the miracle of Ben, and they would just discount it. Oh, Ken, that's nothing. For them, it's dust. For me, it's God. And the more I pull in that miracle energy, the more miracles I'll have. The more my life will become miraculous. We want to proclaim the miracles of our lives, because in fact, we're miracles, just the fact that we're here, that alone. Now, Spirit expresses itself through us, becoming to us what we believe it to be. Spirit becomes to us what we believe it to be. That's Dr. Holmes. I'm going to disagree with him a little bit, because I think it becomes to us what we believe we deserve. That's what it becomes. Spirit already knows you deserve great health, great love, great joy. We're the ones that have to be convinced of it. It becomes what we believe for ourselves. Our consciousness is the self-knowing of Spirit operating through us. We're providing a way for Spirit to express itself, for it to become more of itself. And through this, we can produce either freedom or bondage. We are an expression of the universal mind, and we can call into form anything that we need. In fact, we can't stop calling into form. We're always going to be producing something. We have the choice between, is that something going to be good or is it going to be evil? Our minds are the mind of God functioning at the level of our understanding of our place in the universe. And there is nothing in the universe that opposes you having the best life possible. There's nothing in the universe wanting for you to have anything but love and joy and happiness, for us to have every good thing. You're having the best life possible is a blessing for everyone. For everyone. It encourages and inspires everyone around you. We breathe out God's blessings and we breathe in Spirit's inspiration. And our faith in God's goodness makes the best of our life possible. Spirit, Dr. Holmes says, is the center of our being. He says you don't have to look anywhere else for it. It's already there. He said the highest God and the innermost God is the one God. And through our thinking, We can connect with a power that can do anything that we need it to do. It has no intention but that which we give it. And we give it power when we say we're weak and sad and unhappy, but we also give it power when we say we're marvelous and wonderful. You're marvelous and wonderful. We should proclaim that and then go out and look for marvelous and wonderful and see it wherever you can find it. It says for us what we first say for ourselves. So what you say to Spirit, it says to us, to you. Spirit becomes to us what we are to it. And the law knows us only as we know ourselves. Dr. Holmes says failure and success are but two ends of the same stick. And it's Spirit's great pleasure to give us the kingdom. In fact, it's already given us the kingdom. We have to be the ones to accept it. And we have to strive to stop limiting Spirit, to stop limiting the good you can have in your life. You can have as much good as you can, Dr. Holmes says, embody. As you can embody, you can envision for yourself. That much you can have. The gift of heaven is forever made. It's the receiving of the gift that is the eternal process of expanding the finite. In other words, expanding our thinking. And this is going to go on for all of eternity. Us expanding our thinking of how much we are loved, how much we are supported. Our accepting our good and gratitude and enjoyment expands the good we're able to manifest. Spirit isn't bound by form, but it's independent of all form. And it just can easily create something new as it can hold something old. And my belief is actually it can create something new easier than holding on to the old. We're the ones that hold on to the old, and it's because we're familiar with it. We've gotten used to it. We believe that this is the way it has to be. No, we can allow more joy, more love. All form, everything in life is temporary. I love the song, solid stone is but sand and water and 1,000,000 years gone by. All form is temporary. You can look at a bad condition in your life and you can say, you're on the way out of here. And the moment you stop obsessing on it, the moment you start focusing on it, you will put that bad condition on ski sleds to get out of your life. And that's what we want to do. Look at anything bad and say, you're on your way, and something better is coming in. The divine holds us as part of its eternal perfection. And we're fulfilling our destiny when we think of ourselves as divine and perfect. So when you talk to your relatives today and they asked you what kind of talk you went to, what kind of lecture, you told them, well, the minister told me I'm wonderful and glorious. I'm divine and perfect. That's what you can start calling me now. They'll think you're weird, but they already do, so why does it worry you? Yeah, I'm divine and perfect. And that perfection will be forever evolving in newer and better states of thinking. It's going to go on for eternity. Whatever we set in consciousness, that will show up. If you put it into mind, something's going to happen. And oftentimes, the something that happened is even better than what you first put into consciousness, because Spirit is forever evolving. Will always bring you more love and joy and happiness. Our challenge becomes, can we see good where evil appears? Because if we can, we're going to pull the energetic cord from that which appears to be evil. When we pull our attention away from that evil will disappear. Now, it may not happen immediately because there may be a lot of energy already put into that, so there may be energy sustaining it for a while. But if we will focus our attention on what's good, the evil must disappear. You know, I was at the beach this past week. I loved sitting out on the deck or the balcony and watch the storms come by. And there was a really terrific one that came through. And I was sitting out there and watching the thunder and listening to the thunder and the lightning. And we were in the midst of the storm, and all of a sudden there was a break in the clouds, and there was this one shaft of brilliant light that came down. And as the storms passed, it was very interesting because there was a clear demarcation between the storm and the bright day, the sunlight. And just as the storm left the area, there was a huge thunder and lightning. It seemed like there was a final burst of energy that had to be released before that storm left us. And that's where I think we are. I think we're in the midst of a storm, and I think we're hearing the last big energy of that storm. But a new day is coming. And we need to hold on to that new day. We need to hold on to that shaft, that promise of light, and bring it into our lives, because this is what we can do. The storm, it will roar the loudest, but it's heading out. And we don't need to be distressed by the night. You turn on the light in a dark room, where did the darkness go? It went back into the nothingness. It was merely a condition, and we have control over condition. Light has power over the darkness. The dark has no power. And when the light comes on, the dark goes back to where it came, back to the nothingness from which it came. We have a light within us that can break through every bit of turmoil we are experiencing. So today, let us shine forth. Today, let us allow the light of God's love, God's joy, God's prosperity and health shine forth from our heart and souls. It's what we've been called to do. And we don't need to be frightened by what's going on in the world. This world is not the master of you. You have a power within you to create a wonderful and joyful and loving life. It's what you've been called to do. Spirit has faith in you. Spirit called you by name from stardust so you could be here this morning. There's not a condition out there that you and Spirit can't have control of. So don't be dismayed. Don't be disturbed. You have the power and goodness of God flowing through you, and we're going to make it to a bright and glorious day. This is the truth in your life this morning. It's the truth in mine, and so it is.